It is time once again to fire up the trade machine. This time for a very intriguing name, and that is Michael King. As in yesterday's Ken Rosenthal piece, he brought Michael King back to the forefront in trade speculation. So we're going to dig through some teams that could be in the market, potential trade partners for Michael King. Make sure to leave your comments down below. Do you want your team to trade for Michael King? And be sure to hit that like if you enjoy your time here. Let's begin with the teams that could be in the market. And we're going to actually, a little different from other Trade Machine videos, we're actually going to take a look at every team situation because we are going to cut this list in half. Let's begin. Let's first take a look at the Mets situation. We see what they've done. They brought in Montas. They brought in Clay Holmes. They traded for Paul Blackburn last year at the deadline. Is there room here? Certainly would be an upgrade. The Braves definitely have a spot or two, some could argue, depending on the return of Spencer Strider. The Cubs getting kind of crowded. He would be an upgrade. He would easily be the number 3, and depending on how serious the Cubs are this season, that would be a nice addition. The Angels, you could argue, would be the SP1 for the Angels, but do they have enough? The Baltimore Orioles, does the Morton and Sagano additions remove them from the equation? Toronto Blue Jays have been consistently linked all offseason, even up until recently, to starting pitching options. The Detroit Tigers, boy, Skubal and King, top of the rotation, 1-2, would look really good. I like Reese Olson. Better as a 3. The Texas Rangers, there's some injury history here with DeGrom and Molly. Would this be almost an insurance policy for a team that would probably like to get back to the World Series? So again, those are our 8 teams, and we're going to cut the list in half. So the teams that are out, the New York Mets, they spent the money on Montas and Holmes. Yes, he would be an upgrade. I think it's highly unlikely for Stearns to pull the trigger. The Cubs, yeah, like I said, he would be the 3 in that group, but they have Jameson Taillon, and for the 4 and 5 spots, there's a lot of options, a lot of depth there. So I think we can remove the Cubs. The Angels, everything we're hearing is that they're looking for relievers, they're looking for another bat. We're not hearing anything about an aggressive approach towards adding another starter. So they probably are happy with their rotation, so we'll remove them. And the Orioles, like I said, with Morton and Sagano added this offseason, you throw in their reluctance to trade top prospects. They have dealt some, but they've sort of been selective in the pieces. I think that you add that in, along with the fact that they just did a one-and-done thing with Corbin Burns. Don't know if they want to do that again, so I'm going to pull the Baltimore Orioles. So we've got the Braves, the Jays, the Tigers, and the Rangers. Again, the Braves have room. The Jays have been linked to starters all offseason. They could move Yariel Rodriguez to the pen. The Tigers could justify that group of 5, but again, King would be the number 2 in that rotation. And for the Rangers, again, he'd be the 3, but would be a significant insurance policy for those 2 pitchers, DeGrom and Molly. And his 1-year status might actually be a good thing for Texas with how much talent they have on the way for that rotation. Now, what are the trades going to look like? We've got our low, medium, and high valuations by baseball trade values. We're going to live in that low to medium range, with that medium value, 27.7 is the goal. But all 4 teams will slot in somewhere in that low to medium range. Let's begin, and we will begin with the Texas Rangers. In this package, we're going to send a pitcher. I want to send pitching for all teams here. Pitchers that could also slot into the Padres rotation. We're not looking to rob the Padres blind here. We're trying to help them while we're helping the trade partners as well. So we are going to go with John Gray, Josh Smith, Josh Smith's a good baseball player. Look him up. You'll see what I'm talking about. So it's Gray, it's Smith, and it's Malcolm Moore. Moore is probably the best piece in this trade, even though baseball trade values doesn't give him the highest valuation. He's the number 5 prospect in the Rangers organization, was the 30th overall pick in last year's draft. Now, he's a 50 out of 80 graded prospect, which is good, but not good enough, in my opinion, to eliminate him from trade talk. And he would be a nice piece for the Padres here. They would get Gray to slot into the rotation right away and take King's spot. You would have Smith, who could play all over the field, and you get a nice prospect in Malcolm Moore. Checks multiple boxes, and we get a $27.9 million value. That's actually higher than that middle range for Michael King. Let's take a look at what a Blue Jays trade could look like. And I'll be honest, with the Blue Jays pieces, they're a difficult trade partner here. This is going to test Blue Jays fans' prospect tolerance. Let's take a look at it. We are going to send Davis Schneider, Jake Bloss, and Alan Roden. Schneider is a Blue Jays fan favorite, but we're at a point now where if you can use him to bring a player like Michael King on board, we're there. With so many options, where Davis Schneider slots in on the Blue Jays, there's like 5 or 6 other guys that slot in similarly. So he's expendable. Jake Bloss, they acquired him at the deadline last year, was the top prospect with the Astros, is still a top prospect with the Blue Jays, the number 3 prospect in the Jays organization. We know more about Michael King, though, at the major league level, a lot more, and we like it, than we know about Jake Bloss. And Alan Roden. Alan Roden was the AAA Buffalo Bison's MVP, but when you look at the Blue Jays outfield, where's he going to play? So, 3 pieces. Again, we're testing your prospect tolerance, but I can make an argument for dealing Bloss and Roden. Now, we're giving a ton of control to the San Diego Padres here. I mean, Bloss has still got all 6. Roden's got 6. Schneider's probably got 4 or 5. They're all still in the minors or on pre-arbitration. So the Padres get a lot here. $26.3 million in value going to San Diego. How about Atlanta? This may be, from a King to fill in the blank, the team I like the most. Now the trade package, that's up for debate. But the actual fit, King to the team, this may be where I like it the absolute most. I feel like this is a team that could and should go out and make this trade. When you think about the National League now, just getting to the World Series, just getting to the damn thing. The Atlanta Braves want to get there, and they have an incredible mountain to climb. King would help them do that. Let's take a look at the trade package. We are going to, now, before I reveal it, Braves fans, this might, again, we're testing prospect tolerance here. When it comes to A.J. Smith-Shawver, Hurston Waldrep, Owen Murphy, J.R. Ritchie, you gotta include one of them in this package. Again, we're not trying to rob the Padres blind. So one of them has to be in the deal. Let's go. Let's see the deal. A.J. Smith-Shawver gets the call, along with Nacho Alvarez and Bryce Elder. I think Alvarez is at a point where he's major league ready. He probably, at best for the Atlanta Braves this year, slots in as a depth or injury fill-in if RC gets hurt or Albies gets hurt. But you can trade Alvarez and go find depth on the free agent market. So use his value, and his value would be greater in a trade than anybody else that you could go get, but you could replace him. So you have A.J. Smith-Shawver. That is the jewel of the trade. We're including Bryce Elder, who I think we're ready to move on, needs a change of scenery. He's not going to have an opportunity unless he's throwing darts at AAA next year. It feels like we could work something here. We have the workings of a trade. Again, you have to include, whether it's A.J. Smith-Shawver, Waldrop, Murphy, Ritchie, one of them has to be in this trade. Alvarez, I feel like he's expendable. His value is higher in a trade than it would be on the Braves roster. And Bryce Elder, again, it's fine moving on time. And he still has some value with all of the years of control, with his age, with his potential. If the Padres can get him right. Look, the Padres could be getting two pitching pieces for this year's rotation with Schauber and with Elder. So, Braves fans, what are we doing here? We're at a $24.8 million value. Are you doing this trade? Leave your comments down below. And the Detroit Tigers. This Detroit Tigers team, Michael King would be the number 2. There's reluctancy to sign Jack Flaherty. Maybe it's the money. So let's just go get Michael King. At most, he's going to be $8.8 million, and it's a 1-year proposition. Maybe Detroit likes that. They don't want to get into a long-term thing. So let's see the trade here. This one, again, Detroit fans, we're going to push the prospect tolerance here. So we're going to include 2 players, one player that was a top 10 prospect last year, and another player who was, I believe, a top 5 prospect 2 years ago. Let's go. Justin Henry Malloy, Dylan Dingler, and Kader Montero. Montero slots into the Padres rotation on day 1. Dingler and Malloy, they're ready now. You can, if you want, start them in the minors, but they're major league tested. Dingler is should we say tested for Dingler? He's got his foot in the water. He needs more time. One-time top prospect has slid back a little bit. A shaky start to his major league career, but again, it was a minute. There's a good player there. Malloy is a good player there, but when you think about Detroit's situation, we're sort of running out of room for Justin Henry Malloy. But for the San Diego Padres, he would have a path. And Kader Montero is a decent quality pitcher that fits into your rotation. Is he a top of the rotation guy? No. But you're not going to get a top of the rotation guy and 2 other pieces for Michael King. You have to understand that the piece that you're going to be getting back is probably somebody that slots into that back half of the rotation when you're getting multiple pieces back. This is $23.3 million in value heading to the Padres from the Detroit Tigers. Comment down below. Which trade are you doing? If you're a Padres fan, put your Padres GM hat on for a minute. Which trade are you doing? Michael King, is he on the move? I argue the Padres should hold. Hold for multiple reasons. Number 1, the San Diego Padres kind of need him, right? If you want to compete, how much money they've invested in this year, they can't give up on the year. They kind of need him. So that's number 1. Number 2, as we just outlined in this exercise, the teams that are in the market, the pool's getting shallow. A couple of months ago, we could have talked about 10 teams for Michael King. Now we're dwindling. And even with these final 4, they could all justify moving forward without him. So for 2 reasons, maybe they should hold. You need him, and is this the best time to trade him? But the Padres are in an interesting financial position. We'll see how it plays out. Again, leave your comments down below, everybody. That is going to do it for this one. BALLCAP Nation, especially those of you that made it all the way to the end, I salute you. As you know, it does amazing things for the algorithm, and I have seen a little behind the curtain for you guys that are still here right now that support you 100%ers. I have seen viewership has been increasing. So thank you. And because of that, views have been increasing because time spent watching has been increasing. So either I'm doing something right, I don't know. You guys are supporting like crazy. So thank you. I do appreciate that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Stay close to the channel. Turn the notifications on if you have not yet. More content is obviously coming. I don't even know why I say that. You know that at this point. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And remember, if it's low, let it go. And if it's high, let it fly. I'll catch you next time.